name is Nicole Barrett, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on how to promote creativity in the classroom. This is a PowerPoint I did for our research project. First is the outline. First, I'll be doing the introduction, then I will be going over different teaching styles, ways to promote creativity in the classroom, examples of creative activities, outcomes of promoting creativity, what creativity is to a student, the conclusion, and my works cited. Introduction, and this is just a quote I found. Creativity is as important in education as literacy, and we should be treating it with such the same status. What is creativity? Creativity is the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. Creativity is very important to every child's development. Children's creativity can be influenced by many different things. Parents, siblings, grandparents, peers, and teachers are some examples of people in children's life that can influence their creative skills. Characteristics of creativity are the ability to see the world or situations in new ways and apply them to newly discovered applications at the appropriate time to generate a solution. When a child becomes of age, they spend a lot of time in school. So one place they learn most of their creative thinking skills is in the classroom. So this makes it important for teachers to understand how to promote creative thinking. Creative skills are developed. We as humans are naturally creative. Children learn to be creative by experimenting, exploring, questioning, and using their imagination. In the next few slides, I will be discussing different teaching styles and ideas the teachers can use in the classroom to promote positive creativity for students. Examples of creative activities and what creativity is to a student. Teaching styles. Authoritarian lecture style. Teacher-centered with lengthy lectures or one-way presentations. Students expect to take notes. Used in higher education classes with a large group of students. Good for remembering key facts, dates, and names. This is a questionable model for teaching children due to there being little or no interaction with the teacher. Facilitator activity style. Promotes self-learning and helps students develop critical thinking skills. Students are encouraged to ask questions to find answers and solutions through exploration. Teacher must interact with students and encourage discovery and exploration to come and receive answers. Promotes creativity. Delegator, group style. This style requires lab work, peer feedback, or debate in creative writing. Guided discovery and inquiry-based learning. Teacher is in an observer role and encourages students by working towards a common goal. Teachers are looked at as consultants rather than authority figure. The last one is hybrid blended style. Blends the teacher's personality and interests with the student's needs. Allows teachers to change their style to the student's needs and the subject at hand. Promotes teachers to be something different to each student depending on the student's needs. This style I did find sometimes the teachers seem to do too much and they can be stretched thin. Ways to promote creativity in the classroom. Embracing creativity as a learning strategy. If we look at creativity as a learning strategy, then we will promote learning in the classroom. This is a good way to show students their success and how good learning habits can progress their learning experiences. If creativity is looked at as a strategy to gain knowledge, then it is more likely to stick with students and become an ongoing use of information. Number 2, thinking of creativity as a skill. Creativity is something that is learned and developed through experiences. If we see it this way, our job as educators become to find ways to encourage its use and break it down into smaller skill sets. Skills can be gained and changed. Creativity is progress as a student gains experiences and is able to adapt to different situations. 3. Use emotional connection. It has been shown that the best creativity skills are tied in with emotional connection to their learner. A student is more likely to use their creativity skills towards something that they find interesting or something that connects to them as a person. It is also easier to bring out creativity in students when the subject is something they find interesting. 4. See creativity in a positive light. Teachers should not only promote creativity but embrace it. Creativity should be discussed as a positive addition to learning and never looked down upon. Unusual or unique thoughts should never be turned down, and it is good to encourage out-of-the-box thinking. Examples of creative activities. These are different activities I found that can help promote creativity in a classroom. These are things that teachers can do. 1. Using creativity models. Mess finding, identifying a goal or object. Fact finding, gathering data. Problem finding, clarifying the problem. Idea finding, generating ideas. Solution finding, strengthening or evaluating ideas. Acceptance finding, plan of action for implementing ideas. 2. Rewards for creativity. Some teachers look at rewards as a way to make students feel as if they always need to get a reward for doing something positive. I believe that receiving reward is not only an incentive for good behavior, but it promotes positive thinking when it comes to creative ideas. If a student gets a reward for having unique ideas, then in the head of a student, the creative ideas will flow because they see that positive outcomes come from creative ideas. Another reward that can be given is encouragement and positive criticism. Criticism is not always a negative. If criticism is given when appropriate, it can be a way to make students learn from their mistakes instead of taking it as a negative action. Communication can be a reward in itself for students. Not all teachers are good communicators, even though it would seem this is part of the job requirement. 3. Expressive freedom. A classroom should be a place where a student feels comfortable to express the ideas and thoughts. Teachers should allow for creative ideas and foster creative approaches. It is important for teachers to encourage students to have unique ideas and express themselves. One way that I found for students to have expressive freedom is to be a part of one of the lesson plan. This is not to be used as a tool for students to do what they want in the classroom, but more to be used as a way to allow students to be a part of their learning experience. Students should be able to express their ideas that they would like to learn about within the subject at hand. It has been found that the more a student is interested in a subject, the more they will learn. 4. Open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are a great way to get students thinking. It forces students to think about their response rather than just answering yes and no. They are made to use problem-solving techniques to come to conclusion because they are not led into an answer with the question that was asked. Some example of open-ended questions. What if cats could bark? Why don't we wake up with our hair combed nice and neat? Why do we put our shoes on last when we wake up? As teachers, we have to make sure that we tailor our questions to the experiences of the learner. These questions can assist in creating careful thoughts and planning and can assist students in looking further into their creative learning abilities. 5. Art and magical movement. Art is a good way to add color and creativity to the classroom. It allows a student, especially children, to use their imagination and come up with something truly beautiful. When a child is handed a paintbrush and tell them to paint whatever they want, they are able to access parts of their brain that make the children so creative. Painting allows a student to express themselves in a positive way. Magical movement is another abstract way to promote creativity in the classroom. Some children have so much energy that it's hard for them to sit still and focus. Dancing is a good way for these students to be able to express themselves and also get rid of all the built up energy from sitting in the classroom. There are also games such as Big Snake that students can play. This game requires children to work as a team to figure out how a snake could either slither up a mountain or flip onto its back without group members being lost in the process. These are just some pictures I found for art and magical movement. Outcomes of promoting creativity. Promoting creativity in the classroom can allow students to be an individual, find who they are, be unique, express themselves, and allow themselves to learn from different experiences. Cons to creativity. These really aren't really cons, it's just some negative. A study that I found that teachers thought of creativity as negative. In the study by Njiaka Kwok and Ian Smith, they studied the effects of creativity in different teacher strategies. They conducted 3 studies with different learning styles to see what the effects on students and their creativity would be. They found that most teachers do not like creative students because the creative students tend to have more disruptive behaviors than non-creative students. The first study found that there was a higher tendency for teachers to encourage desirable but uncreative in nature over creative but undesirable in nature. Study 2 found that conservative, autocratic teachers tend to promote students' behavior that are desirable but uncreative in nature. And liberal, democratic teachers tend to promote students' behavior that are creative but undesirable in nature. The last study, study 3, found that conservative, autocratic teachers in a collective culture would encourage student behaviors that are desirable but uncreative in nature, whereas liberal, democratic teachers in individualistic culture would encourage student behaviors that are creative but undesirable. What is creativity to a student? These are just some quotes that I found on a website from different students and how they see creativity. Creativity is something that takes you away from the troubles in the world. It is another state of mind. Creativity is or can be anything we want it to be. It's a way to express oneself. Creativity is something that allows people to show what they are capable of doing. For the most part, this ability is unique to almost every individual. Creativity is anything that involves representing emotions or using learning skills to create a certain outcome. Creativity is thinking outside of society norms. It is being able to express oneself in different varieties of art: painting, poetry, sculpture, style, fashion, etc. In conclusion, over the last many slides, I have discussed many different things about creativity in the classroom. I have discussed how to promote creativity, different creative activities, and the outcomes of creativity in the classroom, and what creativity means to students. Throughout my research, I have discovered that creativity is a key factor in a learning experience of a student. Only positive outcomes can come from creativity. It promotes unique and individual thinking from students. It assists in helping children find out who they are and how to solve problems by themselves. The younger that creativity is learned, the more likely it is to progress. The ways that we are creative change into adulthood, so it is important for teachers to assist students with creative thinking in the younger years of life. Being a good teacher is to promote creativity. Creativity is to promote independence. So all in all, we need creative thinking to know how to be who we want to be and determine what outcomes we want in life. This is a quote that I found that I really liked about creativity. Creativity is the key to success in the future, and primary education is where teachers can bring creativity in children at that level. This is my work citing. That's it. Thank you.